What's up, War Report family? I'm your host, C Dub. Auburn football adds a little green wave to its roster with its two latest additions. So we want to ask you guys, how much improved is this roster for the 2023 season? Mike G and B Will join me to weigh in, and we definitely want to hear your thoughts on the latest edition of the Mid-Week Rapport. Greetings, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the latest Midweek Rapport, courtesy of our show sponsor, auburnsports.com. One of the best ways you can support us is to support our supporters. So please be sure to head over to auburnsports.com and check out what they got going on over there. Shout out to JG Tate and the fam for being our day one supporters. Some of you guys are day one supporters. Show it by definitely smashing that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, share this content on social media. That is Facebook and Twitter. Shout out to our Facebook group who are watching us live. Make sure you click that link to join us for the full discussion over on YouTube after the 30 minutes are up. Mike G, we got some great content for our paid members. Tell them how they can become one.
Listen, become a patron. This is a great thing to do for your life. Become a patron, join our community. Ike has been on fire with the Watch the Films, guys. You definitely don't want to miss this content. You can't get this anywhere else. Nobody's breaking down film like that. $5.99 a month is all it takes to get you there, and you support the work that we're doing here at the War Report, so we always appreciate that. You can also give the gift of the War Report by gifting a membership. Gift a membership to somebody because they choose it at random. We don't know who it's going to go to, but we do know people who interact with our channel at a high level are most likely to be on the receiving end of these gifted memberships. You guys have been doing such a great job giving the gift of the War Report. Please continue to do that. If you're on a computer, hit that gifted membership button on our homepage on YouTube and give the gift of the War Report. Help us grow. We're giving away a mug. Hashtag get your weight up. You guys know the drill. This is sponsored by War Eagle Oil. So hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter. We're going to draw around the 1 hour mark. You guys definitely know the drill. Also, want to take some time to shout out some of our other sponsors, the Rogue Shop, rogueshop.com. Use Rogue Shop code report to get 15% off that order. And Harmon Mechanical. Harmon Mechanical is servicing the Auburn area. You visit them at harmonmechanical.com or call 334-219-0717 to get Harmon Mechanical. Our guy B Will used them and was happy with their services. So we think you should use them too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm getting back out here too.
Listen, man, it was hot today. I'm getting used to southern humidity again, guys, and it's rough. It's like take a shower for your shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it's like out here. I hate it. I hate it. I need that Arizona dry heat back in my life.
Well, no, you don't. That's terrible.
No.
I've been out to Vegas a couple of times. I did not enjoy it. Did not at all.
I lived there. I'll take it every day of the week. Over there.
Yeah, it was hell when I went out there.
Plus the old loop-de-loop likes heat, so it might be perfect for me. I've decided I'm moving back.
Okay, all right.
I ain't moving back.
Moving back where? No, you're not. No, you're not. Let's get into it, gentlemen.
All
Listen,
right.
a lot of news lately. Auburn picked up 2 guys out of the portal. They were waiting to hear from. Let's go ahead and talk about the first guy. B Will, you and I basically covered these 2 this morning in the morning drop. Guys, definitely want to check in for sure to hear Ike and B Will's thoughts on it. But Auburn picks up, starting with Larry Nixon III. This guy is the transfer from North Texas. He comes in at 6'2", 236 pounds from Richland High School out of Texas, a former 3-star. A little bit of information on him over the past year. He recorded in 2022 106 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a sack in 2022. He committed to Auburn over Miami and West Virginia. It was believed that he was a Miami lean until his most recent visit to the Plains, which he left with high marks. Auburn was beginning to feel good about him. He is projected to compete at weak side linebacker, definitely adding some productivity and experience to that linebacking core. I think this is an amazing pickup, gentlemen, just because one of the things we talked about with guys leaving Auburn for the portal is we didn't lose a lot of production. We lost a lot of potential. When we think about guys like Jeffrey Emba, we was hoping to see him reach his ceiling at Auburn, but we didn't lose a lot of production. So what's exciting is for us to see is we're picking up guys who've been productive elsewhere, which gives us an idea of what we can potentially expect in the linebacker room in Larry Nixon. This guy pretty much has a nose for the ball. You got to have a nose for the ball if you recorded over 100 tackles in a season, which means he knows how to locate the ball. But he also, one of the things that he projects to do well is he's pretty good defending against the pass. And that's been a weakness of our linebacker core over the past few seasons. So I'm excited about what this guy can do. Mike G, your initial thoughts about him, how he factors into the linebacking core as well as the linebacker competition this fall?
Oh, well, they're still going after areas of extreme need, right? Which was offensive line and linebacker. I think those were the most extreme areas of need on this team. And they've got to protect the second level. So you talked about Larry Nixon having a nose for the football. I got a chance to look at some of his tape. Listen, man, this guy knows how to play football. He does. And, he's going to get in this summer and they're going to try to strengthen him up in a couple of months and get everything they can out of him to get him ready to play at an SEC level. But having somebody who can track the football and, and fill the right gaps and be a sound tackler is definitely going to be an advantage for Auburn. So I applaud Hugh Freeze, man. I think they've done a really good job going after things that they need and finding quality players to fill those positions. It really feels like they've been selective and choicey about the people that they're choosing to come in through the portal. Right. And it could pay dividends in the fall. So we'll see how it all comes together for Ron Roberts' defense with Larry Nixon.
Yeah, it's been refreshing, Mike.
Yeah.
To say, hey, we need this and we get them. Right?
Yeah.
Like we're used to saying, man, we need linemen. Well, guess we got to go with the ones we got. We hope we can develop them, but they're actually bringing in bodies. They're bringing in people at positions of need. So it's refreshing. B. Will, any other thoughts about Larry Nixon? I know you spoke a lot about him this morning, but any other thoughts based on what we discussed?
No additional thoughts. I'm just glad they're getting what we needed. The offensive line and linebacker stand to be two positions that we knew were needing coming out of last year, and they might be a new guy in every starting spot. That's possible because we don't know that Jeremiah Wright is going to be one of the guys who starts on the line. We think he should be, but or at the very least, let's say we got two linebackers out there and 5 offensive linemen, 6 out of 7 total positions just flipped. He saw a need and he fixed it. That's what Brian Harsin either could not or refused to do. It's one thing to have a dearth of quality of talent, but if you're not fixing it, man, this just shoots it all into the sky. The idea that you can't fix this quickly, no, well, wrong. You can fix it quickly if you want to. It has been done.
Yeah, agreed.
For sure. Let's talk about the next guy here, and this is going to be an interesting one here. Jair Shorter. He's another transfer from North Texas. He stands at 6'2" as well, 218 from Ellison High in also out of Texas, a former 3-star himself. This guy last year recorded 628 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns in 2022, averaged 27.2 yards per reception. This is a deep threat. Hugh Freeze got his guy in a sense of a guy with a catch radius, but a guy who can also go get the ball and is actually can threaten you. Basically, he's a deep threat. I like this pickup. Auburn was in it for a few wide receivers, and we're going to talk about that, down the road as we discuss guys who Auburn still may pursue. But this was an interesting pickup. Again, he played in an offense where they like to throw the ball a lot. And there was a lot of receivers that prospered in his offense, him being one of them. Mm-hmm. But this is a guy pretty much, he's a threat to take it to the house anytime he's targeted or makes a reception. Mike G, your thoughts about this guy in terms of what Hugh Freeze is looking for in his outside receivers?
Yeah, listen, there was a lot of talk about the receivers. Our friend Heather Dinich from ESPN tweeted out, Auburn fans, you're going to need to have some patience with your wide receivers. And, that group feels slighted. I think that Mardner has underwhelmed since he's gotten to campus. And they were continuing to look to make sure there are sufficient options there for Peyton Thorne or Robbie Ashford coming this fall. Because you have a lot of unproven talent. I just don't think it's a bad idea to stack yourself with options, right? But I'm still confident in that room. I just think that bringing in more talent is never a bad thing.
Right.
That's how I feel about Thorne. That's how I feel about Shorter. All these guys, that's how I feel about Muskrat. You can feel good about the guys you have and still bring in more talent. Right? I mean, the better programs are doing that. The guys who win all the time, they're doing that. They're always bringing in better talent or talent that they think is better. So I like the addition of Shorter a lot. I still have to go back. I didn't get a chance to watch as much of his tape. So I have more to say about him at a later date. But again, I go back to my original point about Hugh Freeze and co really going after positions and areas of need and then being choosy about the guys that they fill those spots with. So, this is a way you kind of sustain and level your program. It's not how he's going to build it long term. It's not, right? And he understands that. He said himself, and I quote, by 2024, 2025, we're not in the top tier recruiting. Everybody here is probably getting fired. Yeah. So he understands the assignment. Go out and find talent. You are not going to outdevelop Nick Saban or Kirby Smart. It's just not. Brian used to make this point all the time about how Nick Saban doesn't have to be the best X's and O's coach because of the level of talent that he recruits. And guys, I want to remind you, Philip Montgomery, when he was the offensive coordinator at Baylor, that offense was averaging like 600 yards a game. Mm-hmm. They threw the ball. Yeah. So Shorter, potentially any guy who can come in and contribute a wide receiver potentially eats in this offense with Philip Montgomery. And, we're getting indications that it might be a little bit more Montgomery than Freeze here because all the coaches are saying now, I don't know how anybody has time to be a head coach and have their hand in play calling anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's going to be interesting. We got some interesting quotes. Tomorrow we're debuting an interview with Heather Dinich from ESPN, and she sat down with Hugh Freeze and talked about this very thing. Right. So I just believe, in my heart, this was a good pickup. And I think what it's doing for the coaches too, guys, is, they're building a lot of really goodwill with the fan base, just from optics. From an optics standpoint, they're building a lot of goodwill with the fan base that they at least get it and they're trying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They get it and they're trying. And I think that was something that Harsin failed at. He didn't care about the optics. He was just like, we're going to do it our way and it's going to work or it's not going to work. Well, it didn't work. Right.
Which made it much worse because he wasn't winning in optics either.
Guys, Hugh Freeze has to get this right, man. Auburn has paid out over $30 million in buyout money over the last 3 years. $30 million.
Jeez.
Listen, I got a medical GoFundMe set up that if you put like 10% in that, your boy is good. Stop throwing away money at all these coaches to do a bad job.
Give it to
right. I'm just saying, it's just so weird to me that all this money is being thrown around at guys who just fail at it or don't get it. I think Hugh Freeze gets it.
Yeah,
I really do. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that these pickups pay off and that they are the developers of talent that they claim to be.
Let me ask you guys this. We talked to Josh Pate maybe about a year or so ago or 2 years ago, and we was talking about what Harsin needed to do in year one in order to win over recruits who may not even knew who he was prior to him being hired as Auburn's head coach. And Josh Pate talked about the importance of showing on film, showing in games what you're trying to do. Hugh Freeze is actually now the head coach now, and he's in it for some big name targets on the offensive side of the ball. So could it be that these portal pickups are really important because it allows Hugh Freeze to actually showcase to these blue chippers, this is what we're not only are we trying to do it, we are going to do it to some extent in year one. And you can take us over the top with your ability, which is why I think the portal has played really pivotal. He's gone out and grabbed 18 guys in the portal this offseason, guys. 18 guys. I think Hugh Freeze is serious about showing something in year one. And he's not waiting to try to develop the guys we have. He's getting guys who have at least have experience doing to an extent what he's trying to do at Auburn. Y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, you got to recruit. And you can't, and it's going to be easier to recruit if you win.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why he's trying to win now. He's preaching that the process may to fans patience. Listen, under promise, over deliver. That's exactly like Hugh Freeze. I promise you, Hugh Freeze is not thinking about just making a bowl game.
Right.
Facts.
I promise you, in his head, he's thinking, how do I win the West in year one? How do we put together a championship team now? Right. And we may understanding that he may fall short of that. He will likely fall short of that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Right.
But because you go out there to win. So, whatever they lack for in talent, I hope they can make up for in game planning and scheme. And that would be so refreshing, man, to go up against a team we know is more talented than Auburn and just watch them get schemed to death by Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery. Wouldn't that be a change?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a change? Because I think back to that 2017 SEC championship game. Auburn's coach learned nothing.
PTSD, Mike.
Auburn's coach learned nothing and could have went out there and made the playoff. The only school in the college football playoff era to average top 10 recruiting classes and not make the playoff. You got to be sick of that by now. If you're a fan, you have to be sick of that by now. Or you've learned how to cope. He's learned how to cope. He's got the learn how to cope face.
No, I got the faces. I didn't really need to remember.
Shout out to Rogue Shop.
I didn't really need to remember that game. Yeah, shout out to Rogue Shop for real. I saw some clips of that game recently, and I didn't realize until now that we had like 7 points going into the fourth quarter of the 2017 SEC championship game.
It felt like a much bigger blowout than it was.
It did. Like it was like a 7-10 point game. And then they scored like another touchdown. So it looked worse than it was for the majority of the game. But no, he had nothing. He had nothing to do for that last game, though. And I just didn't remember. I didn't want to remember the closest that we had actually got to success after 2013 was that game. And we fell far short of it. So thank you, Mike, for that memory. I could have done without that tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. The only way we're doomed to repeat the past if we don't study it, B.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember.
Can they study? Can they study and not us? Like just saying.
Hey, listen. They've got to turn this thing around, I think, and I can't wait for you guys to see this interview tomorrow. There were a lot of pointed comments and a little bit of inside information, and I just think Hugh Freeze definitely understands he's got to win on all fronts, right? He's got to win on the field. He's got to win. With the politics, he's got to win with the boosters. He's got to win with his president. He's got to win with his athletic director. All right, he's got to win on all fronts. And they got to be a fully functioning machine if he wants to continue to compete in the SEC West. This conference is tough, man. Like the SEC West is like it's like the NFL light. It's like the NFL G League. Right, like it's just rough playing in this conference, and you got a bunch of coaches who are highly compensated to perform at a high level, and they're highly competent. And you got to, except for Jimbo Fisher, and you got to face off against them every week. Yeah. So they've got it's fun. And like I'll be real disappointed if Hugh Freeze gets got by Jimbo Fisher in week 4. I'm real disappointed. I know they hired, they got an offensive coordinator or whatever, but man, come on, dude, win that game. And it's in College Station, and we fared well there. Do a good job.
I'm not mad at any comparable team that has more continuity than us because their players have been there longer. They've been there with Jimbo. I'm not sure how much of a mirror it's going to be between Petrino and Jimbo, both offensive guys, kind of like what we got going on here, where your OC is his own offensive reputation, just like your head coach. But they've had it going a little longer. And even though they absolutely blew that recruiting class from last season, they aren't bereft of talent. Right, so
yeah, it's just one of the things I think about is when we hired Al Borges several years back. But you got to remember that was sandwiched in between. That was 1 year of ineptitude, right? Prior to that was Petrino, which means we were scoring. We knew how to score. We had experienced guys. Jimbo's offense has been trash, dumpster juice for like a few years now. So I don't know if Petrino turns it around by week 4. I could be wrong, but you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they're used to playing competent offense. So I think it's an uphill battle for Petrino. I'm not saying he gets there. I'm just saying I'll be surprised if he gets there by week 4. That's
fair. They've got some growing to do as well. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's all. They may get there. I'm just not quite sure of it yet. So let me ask you guys this. Mike, you made a point that Hugh Freeze has to win on all fronts. We know that we still have to play. We still have to play football. He still has to win games. Has he won in all other fronts so far up to this point, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think he has. Right. I think he came in and he got first and foremost, he got the fans excited about football. Right. I think fans are a majority of fans, I should say, are legitimately excited about the potential that he's bringing because he went right to work on the things that all the fans were complaining about.
Yep.
Lack of effort in recruiting offensive linemen, and he is a guy who is supposedly good with quarterbacks. And he said it with his chest. He touted that. So, I think he's won. And I think for the most part, he's done a good job redirecting the conversation from his past to football.
Yeah.
I think he's handled that masterfully, actually. Right. Yeah. So he just to keep that conversation focused there, he's just got to win. Right. And the perception has to be that the program is headed the right direction and that quarterbacks are growing up under him and that he's making the right decisions. And, he may not be able to out-talent some of these other teams, but, I think there is a reasonable expectation that fans should expect him to be able to out-coach some of these coaches that are making more money than him, once or twice this season.
Yeah.
So, he did it. He's on a short list of guys who has 2 wins against Nick Saban. He's on a short list of guys who has 2 wins against Nick Saban. So, we'll see how he does in the long run. But I think he's winning the offseason so far.
B. Will, your thoughts before we get to the comments?
He's winning. I think it's pretty clear because we aren't talking about anything else that he has done to this point. So that's a win. It's a win for us to be waiting for some transfer news and having some news. There were some parts in Brian Harson's team where we were like, are we even going after anybody right now? And one guy, and then we lose that. We're not going to get chosen by that one guy. So this is a positive turn for the program. This is always what Hugh Freeze was about. He was, I'm going to recruit no matter what at Ole Miss, but the game has changed. So the extent that he was going to recruit at Ole Miss, completely legal now. Right. And it's all above board. And his intentionality, how intentional he is about talking to guys. If any of the coverage I've seen talking to the players that we are recruiting, asking them, are they going to come back? Are they going to overnight in the summer? You will hear them go, man, I don't think anybody talks to me as much as Hugh Freeze talks to me. I hear from Hugh Freeze every day. Like that's not just his position coach. I hear from Caddy and Etheridge and Hugh Freeze. I'm talking to one of those guys every day.
Yeah.
They're on, man. This is the relationship part is something that he seems to have understood for a while. He's doing the work. He's got a good machine behind him right now. Everybody's feeling good, feeling positive. Money's coming in. It's going to the right places. So hopefully, like y'all said, part of recruiting is winning.
Yep.
He has to do some winning, which is why it's so important that he's done this recruiting in the transfer portal to get some wins. Because if he had gone out there and won 7 games, but we gave people hell in the 5 we lost, and it was against the people who we knew had better talent than us, then he would have been given a gracious green light to continue his tenure as Auburn head coach. But you turn some of those tough losses into wins because you picked up some additional talent, and the offense that you show off is exactly what you want recruits to see. Now you have effectively recruited without having to make promises or without having to go, well, imagine this. No, you saw what Jair Shorter did. He had 12 touchdowns last year.
Yep.
Those are your touchdowns when you come in here now. And it's not a hard sell. You saw him do it. You saw him bring in a quarterback that if he throws more, he's like, hey, I brought that guy in to throw. You quarterback, Walker White, obviously, you're going to be throwing. You're going to be throwing. We are going to throw the ball. I can promise you that, because I didn't do an offense just out of necessity where we were running, but I had to kind of convince you we were throwing. No, you saw us throw it. So everything is shaping up properly for Hugh Freeze. I'm trying not to get excited, man. I'm trying not to get excited. You ain't finna get me all hype and then pull the rug from under me in October, November. I'm gonna stay cool.
It's
until
okay,
we are 5,
B.
6
He said,
weeks
I'm gonna
in.
stay pessimistic.
Right.
I'm gonna stay realistic, because we haven't seen a down. We have not seen a down.
We have not.
We haven't seen our run defense again. We gotta see some things happen before we can get too high. But I like the way it's going so far.
I think it's been a perfect storm with Hugh Freeze, because again, Ed Darby, you just mentioned it was on my mind, but the new facility opening up, we getting our ducks in a row with NIL. You landed a head coach who prioritizes recruiting in the portal as well as in high school. It's just been coming together nicely. The only thing left to do now is win games. And so I think having a coach who gets it, who has experience in this league, understands what it takes to be successful, has had success, I think it's what has given us warm fuzzies in the offseason, where most people expected uncertainty, and Auburn quietly is putting together a team. We're going to talk more about that once we come back from the break. Let's grab some comments. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us and commenting along the way. I'm going to grab some of the super chats. B. Will's Forehead says, God bless Auburn football. After seeing what Coach Hugh Freeze has done in the short time he's been here, what on God's green earth was Coach Potato doing while he was here?
You love calling him Coach Potato.
A lot of people call him Coach Potato, actually.
Coach Potato.
A lot of people have that nickname.
So disrespectful. So disrespectful.
It's kind of funny, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of funny.
What was he doing? He was making sure that his guys were watching film, I guess. I don't. It's really hard to imagine, with the performance and really the football play on the field not improving, that if you weren't gonna be making sure that people understood the game at a better level, that we couldn't execute better, man, you could at least got some better dudes in here.
Right.
Either I'm finna turn you into a savant, or I'm finna get somebody else who's ready made. That man did neither. Neither one. It was like A or B. C.
I mean,
C
again, you had someone who was very confident in what he was doing at Boise, and it just didn't translate to the SEC for sure.
Yeah.
John Sledge says, appreciate the super chat. He says, I believe all these transfers are going to help our younger players get better. This coaching staff seems to be building a sound foundation. Couldn't agree with you more, John. Auburn Dad for Life says, if we get Hook, basically Shane Hooks, and the James Madison edge, Uku. I think our floor, and I think that's Uku, right? Mm-hmm. Our floor is 8 wins.
Floor is 8 wins.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I think listen, I don't hate that take with the schedule they have.
Right.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, I wouldn't be ready to call it right now, but we'll see how the season starts. I think if they start 4-0, then they have a shot at it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Auburn Dad for Life comes back and says, Jimbo and Bobby are 2023 version of Odd Couple, when we were talking about Texas A&M and their offense. It's gonna be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see for sure what they do over there. I really hope B. Will enjoys himself discussing A&M struggles this year as he did last year. It was epic watching him just lay in the Jimbo on what he sees. I'm really looking forward to seeing that this year. It may not be as often or as frequent, but I look forward to it nonetheless. Oda Smith says, to Potatoes defense, if I had the boosters pull some off the wall stuff that degraded my name and family, I wouldn't care too much either.
Yeah, listen, although maybe the job he did here fell short, I don't think I'm proud of the way he got treated while he was here.
Right.
No, I don't think I'm proud. I don't think he did anything to deserve how he was treated in some situations. So
yeah,
just my feelings about it.
JK, thanks for becoming a member of the War Report. We appreciate you. We shouted out Philip Cameron earlier, but welcome as well.
Yeah, welcome.
Trevor Thornton says, is Ike making watch the film for all the new players? Yes.
Knowing Ike, yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this offseason is for.
Sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Sign up. Lawrence Robinson says, War Eagle back home. Great to have you back home, man. Great to have you back home for
Glad
sure.
You're back. Glad to have you back.
Relax, enjoy yourself, sir. Daniel Owen, appreciate you being with us. He says, I got a question. If we add another pass rusher, receiver, and maybe a safety, would that move the needle enough to consider at least 1 or 2 additional wins this season?
Ooh, I don't know if safety would, because we have a lot of guys.
Yeah,
safety. I don't think safety would. Now, add hooks and add the edge. I think that gets. I think we were 6.5 yesterday before all the commits was our over under on the season win total. I think it gets pushed to 7.5 if we get both of those guys. No, probably 7 even. Probably 7 even. I think it gets pushed to 7 even if we get both hooks and Ukwu. Now, do I think that realistically makes us 1 or 2 wins better? I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say that because I don't know that we didn't have, like, just right now, you add Shorter, so we know we've got a downfield threat. I don't know that the other guys in that wide receiver room weren't already enough for us to have a dynamic passing game. Like, you tell me you've got a proven downfield guy, I love it. Our run game was already going to be what we think is really good. Our offensive line looked much improved. If those 2 things work, I think that's the key to our 8-win season right there. The key to our 8-win season is the run game, the offensive line, of course, being a big part of that. Peyton Thorne being protected and on time. And so far, all of that, as soon as Peyton Thorne signed somebody who, if protected, he can be incredibly productive, that was the key to getting to 8 wins more easily in my mind. Now, these 2 guys, maybe icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the pass rusher can't make a big difference in a tight game against a team that's scoring a lot against us. Sure, of course. Every player, you never know which player is going to make that game for you, going to make the big play. But, it's tough. It's tough to say just because of a couple more guys at this point. I think we've got everything we need right now. I don't want to say expect 8 wins. Again, I don't want to get hyped. See, y'all got me I'm trying not to get hyped. I'm not going to get hyped. I think we'll be better. I'm gonna stop right there.
I have a question for you guys, because there is a position that I am a little leery about, but we'll definitely talk about it. You have any thoughts on this, Mike?
No, I do B sentiments here. I'm not sure about safety, but listen, man, anybody who helps definitely potentially moves the needle. There's just so many moving factors, I think, right. Or moving parts to say that, hey, adding guy, here or there worth another win. Like, maybe, is that person getting the pick 6 to end the game, or, right. Are they a shutdown corner, or, are they just one of those receivers that's going to go out and get 103 TDs in the game? I hadn't seen that in quite some time as well, too. So, we'll see. I think a lot of this will depend on the system and whether the system sets them up to have that kind of impact.
Well, good conversation. We're going to pick up and just kind of talk more about the roster, about other guys that this staff may be pursuing in the transfer portal. But you guys are watching the Mid-Week Rapport, courtesy of AuburnSports.com. Do us a favor, ladies and gentlemen, share this content on social media. That is Facebook and Twitter. Also use the hashtag there, smash the like button, and please subscribe if you just found us and are new to our channel. Let's pause to acknowledge our show sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit wareagleoil.com.
Hey, become a patron. Join our community. Get access to some of these film reviews that Ike Jones is doing. Guys, you don't want to miss this content. It's great content that we're putting out here. And this is the best way to support our content long-term and help keep us viable here at the War Report. We're growing. And as we grow, we want to bring you even more, especially this coming season. So become a member. Give the gift of membership by hitting that gifted membership button. YouTube chooses these at random. So if you're somebody who is in the chat and you're hitting like and you're subscribed, but you haven't signed up yet, you could be on the receiving end of these. You get notified via email, and all you have to do is accept, and you get 1 free month of the War Report. You get to go back and watch all that premium content. Guys, we'll give
shout out to Daniel Moultrie, who just gifted some memberships.
Hey, there we go.
Sure.
Yeah. See, we love when that happens. Please continue to give the gift of the War Report. We're giving away a mug sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments to enter this drawing. We're going to be drawing for that in about 20 minutes. So you definitely don't want to miss that either. Want to shout out Harmon Mechanical for being a sponsor of the War Report. Harmon Mechanical. Visit them at harmonmechanical.com or call 334-219-0717 to schedule your HVAC checkup or get your heating and cooling in your house checked up on. Be Will has used them. We can vouch for them. Also, we can vouch for the Rogue Shop. Use code REPORT to get 15% off that next Rogue Shop order. They are great sponsors of the War Report, so we appreciate them for keeping us chill through all these hard times in these Auburn streets. It's hard out here.
I'm going to grab some more super chats real quick. Oda Smith says the floor has been raised to 8-4. The ceiling is 10-2.
That's losses to some combination of Bama, LSU, and Georgia at 10-2. At 8-4, you definitely lose to one of the Mississippi schools, and you lose all those 3 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything else on the schedule should be winnable if you're to go 8-4.
I like 8-4.
B's thinking about it. He's like,
What you
how
thinking, B?
much sunshine am I willing to accept?
8-4 is a solid season, though. I don't know if you knew.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. You're muted, B.
So yeah,
for a first year head coach coming off a 5-7 season, 8-4 is solid. But here only under those circumstances. Not for your 8th year head coach. That's not acceptable.
Agreed. Let's grab another super chat here. Just when I thought Oda Smith was sunshine pumping a little bit, here comes my guy. And Monty Smoot says, I expect a natty and undefeated season.
Oh, man.
Monty was like, listen, hold my beer. I'm going to show you how to sunshine pump. He asked, what the news about Montana Lamonia's Craig? It's going pretty quiet with him.
I don't think he's coming.
Actually, I don't think he's coming to Auburn. In fact, I know it's between Auburn and Arizona. I don't know what the news or the chatter is coming about with Arizona either, but a lot of people have speculated that he could return back to Colorado, where he would be welcomed with open arms if he did. But I think Auburn bringing in Shane Hooks, which is the Jackson State transfer wide receiver, to me has been pretty telling in terms of what they may think about Montana Lamonia's Craig and what the chances of getting him are. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. It's been reported that Shane Hooks has actually visited already this week. So this is a big body receiver who's a good possession receiver who can actually balance out that room. You already got Jair Shorter. You already got guys like Camden Brown. You got Javaris Johnson, guys in the slot. This guy just adds another element to what Thorne brings in the QB room. I think that may fill you out. So it just depends on what Shane Hooks decides to do. But I'm not expecting – I'll be surprised if Montana Lamonia's Craig commits to Auburn at this point, guys.
Yep.
Daniel Moultrie says, I'm really hoping Markel Bell commits soon. I want him in orange and blue bad. I think this is like the 6'9" offensive tackle JUCO that they want to commit. Has a lot of years left to play Auburn football. They project him to be a bit of a project. He's going to have to get some development going. But they like his size. They like what he can bring to the room. These are a few names that I've mentioned. And of course, you mentioned Ukwu. Is Auburn football done? You guys think in terms of the transfer portal? We're starting to wind down. There's less and less needs to be filled here. Do we anticipate any other new names in terms of guys who may commit? Who's on your wish list? Who are you hoping? Hey, I wish this guy actually commits and Auburn accepts.
I don't know. Like, listen, whoever's on Hugh Freeze's wish list is who's on my wish list. Who does Hugh want? Right? I wish he would put out a list because I would just say those guys. He knows what fits with this system. I just want him to get players that he thinks he can coach, right? And that he feels like are a good fit for his culture and with the current players that we have. So you want guys who are going to come in and be team guys. You want guys with dynamic talent, but you definitely want good locker room guys as well too, right, in year one, I think. Because there's going to be some trial and tribulation in year one. And you need guys who are going to keep morale high, who are going to be model teammates, and keep their teammates focused on the task at hand, which is compete at the highest level in every football game this fall.
Yeah.
From week one. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I don't really have a guy. I feel like, you know what, Hugh, whatever you're doing, I'm riding with. Get those guys in.
B, what's your thoughts?
Same. Whatever you think we need, let's go get it. Whatever you think we need. I think we probably do need Ukwu, but I think that's the biggest need. I think everything else after that will be icing on the cake. The offensive lineman that the really, really big offensive lineman, he's not going to play this year. I don't think he's a developmental guy. He a bit raw, probably not the best mover at his size. So everything else, I think we do need ready-made edge, go get the quarterback skills. And Keldrick Falk is not, as a true freshman, I'm going to assume he's not ready to be that guy right now on the spot. So we got one with McLeod. One more would be perfect. I think that's all we need.
Yeah, I think I want us to get Isaac Ukwu. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get him just because, look, we got some depth now at the jack position. Now we got some guys there he'll be competing and playing with. I'm not quite sure if that's the case with Ole Miss and Missouri. I think they probably can promise him a clearer path to playing time or getting a lot of playing time there. So it's a toss up between us, Ole Miss, and Missouri, just because we have filled out that position. It doesn't look anything like it did after the season ended. So we've added 2 new bodies there, including Keldrick Falk out of high school. It's going to be tough to pull this guy. If we do get him, I will be excited. And as I stated earlier, I like Shane Hooks as well. So we get him. Let me ask you guys this. Do we need another corner?
I don't think so. But I mean, I'm not the coach,
we were kind of thin during spring ball, if you recall. Now, one of our guys was out, he was injured, but
right.
I'm just thinking about what happens during the season in terms. Again, we're getting more bodies and freshmen coming in the summer, but we're talking about safeties. I'm thinking, do we really need a corner more than a safety? Because even with McDonald leaving, we still got a lot of safeties back there.
Yeah, we do.
So just a thought there. Just a thought. I'm gonna grab some more comments here, guys. James Barnett says, fellas, I have been consistently saying that this roster is underrated before we even picked up our last few portal guys. This team will compete for the SEC West this year.
Oof.
Bank it. You should have super chatted that one. You could at least put some money on it, James.
Right, you go so sound pump.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Pump it with some cash.
I mean, it's underrated. Were we underrated before? We're changing over the roster at such a fast rate. Like, this is going to be, I want to imagine for a second, if we get Hooks, right? It's possible. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying I want it. We could have Hooks shorter, Burton starting, Fairweather starting, Peyton Thorne, and at least 4 new offensive linemen. That's 10 people on this roster that weren't on this roster last year. New starters. 10 new starters out of 11. And again, I'm reserving one of those guard spots for Jeremiah Wright in my head until they tried out the offensive line, and he's not one of them. You turn the roster over like that, you would have to start asking, well, why are y'all only expecting 6 wins, 6.5 wins? Just because the sting of what happened last year, the media is a stench. It's, hey, 5 wins. We're looking awful. The coach got fired mid-season. Cadillac had to come in and save the day. And even then, we still got blown out by Bama at the end of the year. So it was a feel-good story on the national level, but it didn't amount to much. We were a joke. We were a joke before Brian Harsin got fired because everybody was saying, oh, he's not going to last. And he didn't. Yeah. That's what people remember. That's what the people who are setting those lines, that's what they remember. We are not being we are being underestimated because I don't think people realize this is not going to be close to the same team.
Right.
Not even kind of close.
Right. Guys, real quick segue. There are 3 people in the giveaway right now. So y'all get on your hashtag, get your weight up, because I will roll it with 3 and watch them 3 names go like this. I'll pull Ike on y'all. I ain't waiting.
That's different coming from you, man.
Yeah. Listen, he's corrupted me. Taking all my patience.
All right. Cleveland Brown asks an interesting question. I'm going to add a caveat here because I already see you guys in the comments. Which transfer signee will make the most impact? Here's my question to you guys. Which transfer signee will make the most impact, not name Thorne?
It still might be Fairweather to me, honestly. I think it's still, we had him for a while, so we don't think about him so much because he hadn't been on the tip of everybody's tongue, but I think it might be Fairweather.
Okay. Mike G.
I'm going to go with Fairweather too. God, like, I mean, from the time he hit the door, they were just like, boom, that's our guy. Right. I have a hard time believing, given Hugh Freeze's history, that they're not going to have a game plan for Fairweather. Like, I mean, he honestly, in seeing him in person, he's like a type of guy you run an offense through almost. Like, yeah. I think he can be that dominant. So yeah, I'm going with Fairweather too, man. Like, he's looking like a monster. And if they can, if the quarterbacks can hit him in stride up the seam and over the middle, he's going to be a dangerous weapon for this offense.
Y'all are going with the tight end. I'm actually going in a different direction. I'm going defense, and I'm going Justin Rogers. Now, if we got our rusher from the jack position, and if we got our linebacker position looking good, and those guys are attacking and playing downhill, you need a guy in the middle who's going to command some double teams, clog up the middle, and allow those guys to make plays, and allow our defensive coordinator to scheme up some things, to bring some confusion, throw off the timing of offenses. I think Justin Rogers is that guy. Again, he was highly regarded coming out of high school. Big dude up in the middle. I like him. I think he will make the most impact. He may not affect the stat sheet, but he will allow our defense to be a lot more flexible and allow us to play downhill and really put some pressure on quarterbacks. Justin Rogers is my guy. I think that's going to be the biggest, the impact signee, not named Thorne, because I think Thorne is an obvious answer there because he's going to have the ball in his hands. Right. He's the obvious answer there, but I like Justin Rogers.
This just says the most impact. It doesn't say whether it's positive or negative.
So we hope it's not negative, right?
Right.
Ben Bloodworth says Caleb Love decommitting from Michigan. Is AU meddling here?
Everybody say, I hope so. I mean, who knows? I don't know if we're in it for Love. I know, is he a 2 or 3? I really don't remember.
Maybe
if he's
3.
a guard or forward. It seems we have I think Julius what's his face from Tennessee. I think that's the one we're going.
He's actually a 2, I think. He's
okay, he might be a 2.
Yeah.
That means you're gonna bench Denver Jones after you just got him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't think we get him, because I think we're gonna get. Well, somebody's saying Caleb is a point guard, See JB saying he's a point guard. I don't think we already got two point guards
there.
vying for position. Yeah, if it was a 3 or a 4,
that even solidifies your point.
right? So I think best case, Julian Phillips. I'm sorry, y'all. Thank you, Chad, saving my life. I think Julian Phillips is the 3. We get him 1, 2, and 3 are set. We are set at the 1. We got 2 guys. Trey Donaldson, who is going to be a very good. He's already a good defender. Been in the system. He knows what Bruce wants. I think he meets his expectations, and he showed up big in the tournament in our biggest games. I think Trey Donaldson definitely has a future. He's a ball handler, offense runner. Aiden Holloway is a scorer.
Yeah, Bruce is really excited. Yeah,
baller. Now I don't know how you're going to run that lineup because I think Trey Donaldson probably needs. I think he probably needs to start the season. Aiden Holloway is going to have to learn how to defend. Trey Donaldson is sturdy, and I like that. Like he's built like a football player, of course, because he's a football player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just back him down. We saw what happened to Wynn last season when he got defended. Tall guards, like he didn't really put up much resistance, and he tried, gave the effort. That's why I think Trey Donaldson starts. Aiden Holloway is going to be in the mix, though. Denver Jones is going to be in the mix. Julian Phillips is going to be in the mix. We got the kid from Cheney from North Alabama. I think we're set at 1, 2, and 3. All our guards and our smallest forward set. The 4 and the 5. That's where we need to meddle with some 4s and 5s. Who was out there to meddle with that hadn't signed yet? That's who we need to meddle with. The point guard, shooting guard, small forward. We don't need to meddle with those guys. I think we're good.
Yep.
Wesley Hilson says we need a 5. I agree. I think we need a 5. We tried to get 1, but I haven't heard any news of any other centers they tried to bring in since the kid from Clemson came by and committed elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we will see. We will see. Speaking of which, that brings us to Wesley Hilson's question here. Did y'all see Janai's stats from day 1 at the NBA Combine?
Man, he gone, man. I'm worried. I am worried. Here I was saying he's not athletic enough to get a serious look at the draft.
You said that too.
Yeah,
you said that.
I mean, and look, I've seen the clips. He's not out there dunking on people. He is very fundamentally playing the game. Now, granted, against G Leaguers, right? He's not out there balling against the NBA players.
But he was dominating. But he was dominating. You can only play who you play, though, right?
Right.
What more could you ask of somebody than to say, here are all the other guys who are, we think, right in your position, and you dominate against those guys. He's doing what's asked of him, from not getting the combine invite to playing through the camp into a combine invite and now playing well at the pre-combine stuff. Hey, he's done what's asked of him. Unfortunately, I think him going will probably, and him performing at this level and then leaving and not coming back will probably be what makes a lot of Auburn fans realize how good he was for us. I think because it came in such a so-so season as far as what the standard was prior to that year, that people won't really understand he was good. Janai Broome was not the problem. Amazing. The roster was not developed for us to make a deep run. There were huge holes in the roster. Janai Broome was not one of those holes.
There were plenty of times Janai was open in the post and did not get the ball.
Yeah.
There was plenty of times that Janai did not get an opportunity to do work in the middle until it was too late. So to me, and we were able to see him be visibly frustrated in some games because he's open down in the post but not getting the ball. So the offense didn't run through him enough. And I'm with UB. I think that he was incredibly good player. Just didn't get a chance to really see it as often. He led Auburn in scoring a lot of nights, but I think he was even better than what he even demonstrated when he was at Auburn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to say real quick, because Corey said Broome measured at 6'9". Is he athletic enough to play 4 in the NBA? I still think the answer to that is no, but he's damn sure big enough to play 4 in the G League. Sharif Cooper is making a living in the G League. Bruce, I want to say Bruce Brown. His name is not Bruce Brown. I'm thinking that's the dude that plays for Denver. Bryce Brown. Yeah, because he plays for the Nuggets. I've been watching him. He making a living in the G League. Of course, Jared Harper flips back and forth between G League and some roster in the pro roster every now and then. There is a career to be made in the G League, which rivals the money he would have made being at Auburn, but you're just a professional doing it. You're doing it day in and day out. You're practicing more. You are traveling more. To Ike's point, I think if you aren't enamored with the college lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
it might be just as attractive. So, more power to him if he can make that jump. I don't think he's similar to a guy who actually got on the G League roster. He did the same thing that Broome is doing now. Kenny Lofton. He played in the G League last year. He's a really heavy set guy. He was in the tournament last year. He's like 6'8", but he's like big guy. He's on Memphis's roster. He got called up to the playoff roster for their run, even though he didn't get any minutes because he's like 6'8", but he can't jump. He plays like a big man, but he's not quite 6'9". And he's been on the G League team. He was killing it in G League last year before the season got started, but they didn't call him up until the playoffs, and then they didn't give him any burn. I don't know if you're going to see Janai Broome on an NBA roster during the regular season at 6'9" when your chief way to score is back to the basket. Like that's some Anthony Davis, some Nikola Jokic. That is, you have to be big for that to work in the NBA. I don't know if he has a future doing it, but I damn sure think he can do it in the G League, and he may just like that better than Auburn.
Yeah, we will definitely see. Chris Wiley, appreciate the super chat. He says QB Takeover Flight School this weekend in Atlanta. Sean McAvoy of QB Takeover trained Malik Willis from Roswell to NFL. Quincy Avery and company put QBs to the league. Check out their resume to get a press pass for this weekend. Okay.
All right. Listen. Listen, Malik Willis is such an interesting case study for Hugh Freeze, right? Like, because he's got a Robbie Ashford that he is saying is more athletic than Malik, right? And we saw what he was able to do with them. I just can't help but wonder if we don't see that. Somebody tagged us in a comment on Twitter, me and Ike, about Hugh Freeze talking about possibly playing two quarterbacks at one time at one of those like club events where he talks to like boosters and fans. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, what? I was pretty adamant that like he would not do that, but I don't know if he was just talking or what the deal was. But I was just, I'll chat. Go to my timeline, guys, and you'll see the tweet, right? But it was just very interesting. I have so many questions about what he was going to do at quarterback this fall, and like how open he's going to leave the door for one guy to win the job and for somebody else to retake over the job if his initial pick isn't performing, in the games. Is like they are in practice. Right. So it's just going to be so interesting to me. I just wonder how quickly does Hugh Freeze pull the plug in year one on his starter if he doesn't feel like it's going the right direction. Is it game one? Is it game two? Is it game six? Like, how far down the rabbit hole does Auburn have to go before he'll say, this ain't it? Let's try something different. Yeah. I think it'll say a lot about him as a coach.
Yeah.
James
Barnett says, you are right, Mike G. That comment did deserve some.
Hey.
Appreciate it, James.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I appreciate this. You didn't have to do that, but we appreciate it.
All right. Scott Chapman says, I would bet 9 or 10 wins this year.
Y'all are brave. I would bet over 6.5 right now. I would bet that.
Yeah, listen,
they'll think that's going to change me.
They'll probably do it because I am not going to get behind that this year. All right, yeah. Every time I sunshine pump it, the results are disastrous. So I'm gonna sit on the sidelines on this one. Everything's a disaster. We're not gonna win the game. Oh my
god. I hope, as usual, the opposite happens.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Welcome, Nina. Appreciate you becoming a member, and she also she super chatted us. I didn't see her comment though. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
did not see it. If there was a comment, let us know.
Comment again, Nina. Let us know if you were meaning to say something to us. We'll look out for it. Oda says, side note, my PC or Pell City Panthers just hired Courtney Upshaw.
I'm sorry, man. You got Bammers running over there, but you might be a good football coach, so good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's time to draw.
It's time to draw.
What we drawing for? Mike?
We're drawing for a mug today. We're drawing for a mug today, right?
All right.
So you got a chance to win a mug. It's 50 y'all in here. It's 300 y'all in here, but It's only 50 in the drawing. So we're rolling it. Who's going to win today? We shall see. I think it's going to be. That's not going to be him. Yep. Trevor Thornton.
Trevor Thornton.
Trevor, where you
Trevor
at?
Thornton. Where
Trevor,
you at, my boy?
Yeah, you got to be here to win. You got to be here to win. So we'll wait on Trevor before we give instructions. And if he's not here, then we roll again. Those are the rules.
Guys, listen. I know. We're B is trying to temper his excitement.
Yes.
But before you temper your excitement, we're going to let Trevor enjoy his excitement because he's here. All right.
Hey,
So here's
Trevor.
what we need. Here's what we need you to do, Trevor. First and foremost, congratulations, good sir. We need you to email us business@thewar report. Email us your physical address, and that mug, the cup of greatness, as it were, will be mailed directly to you, sir. Thanks again for supporting. Thanks again for watching, and enjoy that mug. All right, guys. Some other thoughts just about kind of where we are in this off season. It's been a real exciting season, guy. Off season, like it seems like it's going by nicely, and I think a big part of it is just because of the makeover of this roster. We kind of alluded to it, but how much have we improved? I mean, we talked about Hugh Freeze going out and getting people, addressing needs. How much more comfortable do you feel about this football team, or confident do you feel about this football team as it pertains to the roster? If we really believe that he's upgraded the roster, how much better can we expect Auburn football to be?
You know, again, we just outlined. We don't know what's going to happen exactly at wide receiver yet, but we knew that we had at least three guys. You pick who your favorite three guys are in the wide receiver room who you felt like didn't get a chance last season to shine because of what was going on with the passing game between the offensive line and Robbie's hurt shoulder. I think Jay Fair is going to be special. I still think Camden Brown's going to be special. I still think Amari Kelly.
Guy. Hey, who's that first name you said?
Jay Fair.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
And on one hand, you love the idea that we're getting talent, and it's often said that, oh, well, Ohio State's got so much wide receiver talent, and you get a guy from there because he was injured and didn't push through that lineup. The wide receiver lineup at Ohio State is ridiculous, has been for like the last 3-4 years. So you can have a genuine reason to get excited about a guy that you get from there at that position. Is Caleb Burton is going to push out Jay Fair, though? Like, I want to see Jay Fair shine. I want to see Jay Fair get the opportunity to shine. I'm worried now that some of the guys who we have here won't get an opportunity to shine because there are other guys who are coming in equally as talented. That worries me a little bit. However, injuries happen. All right. We need insurance. It's not just like only 3 wide receivers are going to see the field in this year. Like that's nonsense. Would I love if everybody who plays stayed healthy and they just mix guys up? Yes. Mm-hmm. Best case scenario. We know it's football and it just doesn't work out that way usually. So, yes, we're better because everybody that we've brought in seems to be, if you go by either their high school recruiting ranking or their scouting report from where they played at their last school, they are either more productive than the guys we had here, more highly touted coming out of high school, or they already have some tape that really kind of makes your eyes bug out of your head. We have improved our talent, and I don't think that's even arguable at this point. Offensive line, our talent has improved. The only place we didn't improve was running back because I think we had the talent, but we improved our depth. I don't think Brian Battie is a better running back than Jarquez Hunter. I don't think he's a better running back than Damari Alston, but I do think he is a very productive one who has his own skill set, a different build, and you add him in the room, I think that's a win. We have improved each room. That's the best way to say it. We've improved every room, beyond the shadow of a doubt. Yes, every room has improved, except for maybe defensive line, because Derek Hall and Kobe Wooden, that was talent. We had some really good talent there.
Sure.
Man, if Eko Leota was healthy. Man, I think between those 3 guys that we lost, we probably lost. That's the one position where it may be equal right now, but not necessarily better.
I mean, you lost guys to the NFL, so I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have something to prove at that one position. That's the one position group. I don't think it's safe to say for sure it's better. Every other position group, just with DJ James coming back and K and Lee coming in, we're better. This
For sure.
yes,
For sure.
we're better. So we are better. And I'm still trying not to get excited. You're trying to get me hyped up. See, I see what you're doing. We are a better team right now.
I don't know
we
what
are
you're
a
talking
better
about.
team right now. I am excited and still trying not to get excited.
Okay. All right. Mike G, you excited? You feeling good?
Listen, I think Hugh Freeze has a chance to do something special in year one. I do. I think the schedule sets up nice. I think the roster is not as bereft of talent as people think.
Yeah.
He just has to know how to organize it and how to utilize it and deploy it. If he can do that, they're going to win some games. And then I expect the coach that you're paying $6 million a year to be good for a game or two where he just out-schemes the better coach with the better talent.
Yeah.
I expect Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery to put their heads together and win Auburn a game or two with scheme. And embarrass the talent on the other side of the field because they just don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Hard to stop what you can't see coming. How much can they keep opposing defenses on their toes? You got to score points, man. I'm telling you, defense has not been the problem at Auburn, traditionally.
Right.
They have more years where the defense is solid and more years where the offense is solid. So get it right on offense, man, and let's see this thing get turned. Let's see Auburn become, it's funny, during the Cam and Nick Marshall years, because it was so close together, we just felt like Gus was always capable of putting out that season where they were just prolific at offense for some reason, and nobody could stop it. Then they ran out of Tuberville's guys.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it. So I just want to see it, man. I just want to see it look like a well-oiled machine. Didn't Hugh Freeze produce DJ Metcalf?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
DJ Metcalf is a Hugh Freeze guy.
AJ Brown as well.
Yeah, let's see some of that, man. Let's see some DJ Metcalf type guys come in here. Dude, he's a freak.
DK Metcalf.
I'm sorry, that's a DK Metcalf. Like, he's a freak. Oh, my goodness. Let's get some more.
To be fair, his parents are responsible for him being a freak. But he does fit the skill and body type.
Yeah, right. So
technically,
Hugh would have freaked that.
Hey, no. Flag on the plate. Flag on the plate.
Okay.
No, we're not asking that question and putting Hugh's name in there. Let's
all right. Fair enough.
T Hall, thanks for becoming a member. Nina comes back and says, I just wanted to meet the guys that steal my husband, Joey Kelsey, every morning, every Wednesday, and every Sunday.
Yeah,
Eagle.
Right. Yeah. You know what's funny? I went to the gym today, and this guy, I thought this guy was gonna come ask me for some weights or something. And he walks up, he was like, "Man, you Mike G from the War Report," and I was like, he said it in a way that I wasn't sure if I wanted to say it was me or not.
Bo Nix fan, you gotta be careful. Well, depends. What do we hold on? Who want to know?
Yeah, I'm Mike G.
Got to pick up a 45, shield yourself like Captain America. What's up?
Yeah, I was like, depends. Do you like the show or are you crazy? All right. So anyway, he was a fan. He was like, I watch you guys every morning. But there are a lot of wives who are just like, what are they that think their husbands are cheating? Like, he sneaks off and watches this thing every morning. How are he's doing? So yeah, it's just us, Nina. It's just us. We're
listen. I don't know this, but couples who watch the War Report together.
Yep, stay together.
There you go.
That's what I heard too.
There you
That's
go.
what I heard too.
That's what I heard.
Corey Weber says, Mike G, thoughts on baseball team possibly hosting a regional?
Listen, get the brooms out this weekend. Auburn is putting the whoop to Mizzou, hottest team in college baseball right now. Come on, man, give these guys their due. They are on fire right now. You got to give Butch his credit. He got them playing at the right time. Took 2 out of 3 from the number 1 team in the country. Took 2 out of 3 from Mississippi State. Swept Ole Miss. Come on, man. Those guys are on fire right now. They are on fire right now. I think if they sweep Missouri, they should absolutely host a regional. No way. I saw a ranking that still doesn't have them in the top 25. I was like, what do they got to do? They took 2 out of 3 from the number 2 team in the country. Then they took 2 out of 3 from the number 1 team in the country. and then run ruled them. Game 3, they had to call the game in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't know what the run rule is in college football, I think after the 7th inning, 10 or more runs, it's over.
Right.
Man.
Correct.
Come on, dude. Like, I just know what they got to do to get some respect. Their bats are alive. The pitching may still be a little shaky, but, you know, if they cut out the unforced errors in the field, Auburn is not a team anybody wants to see right now on the diamond. You know, and that's not even a sunshine pump, man. That's what they're doing on the field right now.
Yeah, credit to Bush for being able to make something out of what appeared to be nothing early in the season when they lost their pitcher and the pitching was kind of suspect. So they've turned it around. It's a good time to watch Auburn baseball. I hope they go far. For sure.
Nate LaRue was batting like 120. Now he's almost batting 300.
This is a hell of a turnaround, man. Because this is baseball is definitely one of those sports where momentum means more than what you've averaged what the type of team you were all year. Like, I don't know the last time we actually saw the team with the best record win the title in baseball. Like, I think last year was the Yankees, right? That didn't, and they were at home while Houston won the World Series. So you have to be playing right at the right time. Now, for whatever reason you weren't playing your best early, might have been pitching, might have just been injuries. It might have been some development. You got some young guys that are coming along, but for whatever reason, playing great right now is the most important thing you can do. We are doing it.
For sure.
We are doing it. So the sky is literally the limit. Like, there's nobody we can't beat when you're playing like this. Nobody.
Hey, you Trent, thanks for becoming a member. I think we've grabbed all of them so far.
Hey.
Mike G, tell the folks what they need to be doing, man.
Hey, man, you need to become a member of the War Report. $5.99 a month will get you there. And if you already a member, give the gift of the War Report. Some gifted memberships we're already giving away this live stream. You guys can do that whether we're live or not, but give away some memberships. YouTube will choose who gets those, but that's a great way to support our channel. Congratulations to our raffle winner, brought to you by War Eagle Oil. Also, thank you to Harmon Mechanical for sponsoring the War Report. Visit harmonmechanical.com and get your HVAC check this summer so that you are not burning up in your own home. Also, thanks to the Rogue Shop for helping us keep cool in another way. Different types of cool, but use code REPORT to get 15% off that Rogue Shop order. Sleep, stress, anxiety, all that stuff. The Rogue Shop has got you covered. And listen, our guy Richard over at the Rogue Shop really is thankful for all the feedback that you guys have given about customer service when you've made orders, the responsiveness. Please keep giving him that feedback. He definitely loves hearing it, and he definitely loves hearing that you guys are coming over from the War Report.
Indeed. Thanks again for hanging out with us, guys. Do us a favor before you get out of here. Share this content on your social media. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I mentioned Facebook and Twitter throughout the show, but we're also on Instagram at The War Report. In addition to Facebook and Twitter, you can find us on TikTok at TW Report. That's it for now, guys. Congrats to our winner of the drawing. Thanks again for supporting. Shout out to our sponsors. Guys, we will be back on Friday for the morning drop. Until then, enjoy the interview with Heather Dinich that releases tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Again, we're working 5 days a week, guys, this week for you to bring you great content. Definitely want to check that out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. As always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.